What's up, influencers? That's right. We're going to be talking about small channels getting sponsorships. My name is Benji Travis. Welcome to Video Influencers, where we're helping build your influence, income, impact with online videos. I am so excited. It's the end of the week, but some of you, it might be the beginning because this is when you start hustling after your day job, whatever it might be. But today we're going to be talking about getting brands to sponsor your channel, even when you have a small audience. And I'm excited to dive right into it. We've got a very special guest that has a lot of experience. So I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat that's been waiting. I appreciate your patience. So make sure you ask some questions because we've got the team on. Chris is watching, Gabby's watching, and we are going to make sure to answer. And we're going to be doing an audit at the end of this. So without further ado, let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking about small channels getting sponsored by brands, how to do it, some of our experiences and tips that we have for you to get started so that you don't have to wait to have a huge audience. We're going to be sharing our tips, and I've got a special guest that's going to be diving into it right now.
This video is brought to you by vidIQ, the #1 Chrome extension for YouTubers looking for on-point data analysis, research resources, and enhanced video creator tools. Start getting more views in less time today by signing up for free at vidiq.com/influence. That's vidiq.com/influence.
Boom! So we're going to get into the topic. However, what I wanted to do first was introduce our guest, Liron Segev, and he's a YouTuber. He's been on this platform for at least a decade, if not a little bit less, and is a YouTube expert, YouTube certified, and works with our sponsor, vidIQ, as a director of customer success. He knows his stuff, and I want to show you guys his channel real quick before we dive into it. And so the reason I love Liron for today's subject is he has a relatively small channel. However, he's got some pretty dope videos, and he's worked with brands. And so right now he's at 15,000 subscribers. However, he's got some mega hits. Every once in a while, he'll get these videos that get 20,000 views, 25,000 views. Let's see, some of his bigger hits lately have been, up to hundreds of thousands. And he's got some really big hits on his channel. But we're going to be talking specifically about getting sponsored by brands, and I want to finally introduce him to you. Liron Segev, what's going on?
Hello everybody. Thank you for having me on this channel. This is my favorite time where we speak all things YouTube. I mean, what a better way to spend your weekends, right?
Boom, that's what I'm talking about. So Liron, I have known you for, I want to say about a year, maybe a little less than a year. We've been chatting in different events, obviously online. But one of the things I love about you is your passion, obviously, for the platform, but also helping creators, because through vidIQ, as well as just on your own, you've helped a lot of channels grow, and this topic is just one of many of your expertises. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself that they might not know about you, and what we're going to be talking about today.
So I'll give you the short PowerPoint version because we want to get into the meat of today. Essentially, I've been doing this social media stuff for, dare I say, many a year. Before this thing blog was actually a word, it was an HTML website. And I've been kind of working back in the day. I designed this web page because I was tired of answering the same question again and again and again. So I took the lazy way out, I'll be honest, and I simply said, hey, so many people are asking me the same question, I can just send them a bunch of links. So simple. But you know what was cool? Brands started reaching out to me to say, hey, you're kind of explaining our products better than we are. Should we have a chat? And that's kind of where it all started. Since then, I've worked across 3 different continents, the US, the UK, and South Africa, where I'm from originally. I'm now based out of Dallas, Texas in the US. And I've worked with international brands, with local brands, big and small. And with vidIQ, what I do is I help creators just like you. Doesn't matter the size of your channel, because we all want to achieve the same thing. We want to just get to that next level. So my job is essentially to help you understand that you can do it. And just a little bit of a mindset change, using some tools. Man, everybody's got this. It's just a process that we have to go through. So I'm so excited to tell you how to make money, because that's what most of us are here for. So let's get.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that you said that, because who doesn't love making some money? And that's what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be watching your questions, and we're going to do one, maybe two audits at the very end of this broadcast, as we usually do. But what we're focused on today is helping you work with brands, because there's so much opportunity there, getting sponsored and, different variations of that. So let's dive right into it. And even if you're a small channel, in fact, if even at zero,
Yes.
there's a lot of value you can add, and we're going to talk about that and our tips and Liron's kind of system to get you there. So, all right, small channel sponsorships, that's what we're going to get into. The first tip is this. Number one, size doesn't matter, ROI does. Now, obviously, we're talking about small channels. Whether you're 0 or you've got 100 or 1,000, it doesn't matter, because ultimately there's even channels with big audiences that aren't able to get brand sponsorships, because what the brands really want is they want conversion. They want to get their message out. They want their products being sold. They want customers to sign up for whatever it is that they're trying to market. So the return on investment. They want something in return on what they're going to be investing into the world, or specifically into you and your channel as an influencer, micro influencer. And that's where that term comes from. A micro influencer is a channel with a small audience, but very strong audience. So Liron, let's dive right into what does that mean to you, that size doesn't matter and ROI does.
All right, so let's start at the top. I've seen a lot of people in the chat already saying, I have a small channel, I have 100 subscribers, I have 350 subscribers, I have 3,000 subscribers. Look how different the sizes are, and we all have that mindset, we're a small channel. Let me tell you that needs to change right here, right now. It's 300 people who are subscribers to your channel. You might not, that's a big number. But if I tell you 300 people are coming for lunch today, that's a lot of people, right? So you must remember that it's about an audience. And let's tell you the extreme side of it. I was at one of the events, VidCon, which is a big YouTube convention. I was doing a lot of channel audits with vidIQ, and I was talking to some people. And one lady says to me, you know what? One day I'm going to make it on YouTube. And I said, oh, that's interesting. What channel do you have? And she told me about a channel. And I said to her, by the way, how many subscribers do you have? Guess what she said? 1.2 million. She wasn't making money yet. How is that possible? Well, the reason that is possible for her not to make money, because she's got the mindset that she doesn't deserve to have those channels, those brands working with her. You have 100 subscribers, you have an audience, you have voice, you have someone that a brand wants to speak with. So if there's one thing we're going to get started today, and from now on going forward, stop thinking that your small channel is a small channel and nobody cares. We have to have that mindset. And in fact, I did my first brand deal with a very big with a very big operator called Samsung. Some people might have heard of it. And I did that, had less than 1,000 subscribers. I was given my first free phone, that they give to reviewers to test, when I had less than 300 subscribers at some event with a company called Huawei, which we'll get into shortly.
Yeah, let's get into that right now, actually,
yeah,
because I think that that would be something good for people to see. So we're going to switch over here to the video of your Huawei phone sponsorship. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what I did was I went to a CES type of event. So CES is the Consumer Electronics Show, happens in Las Vegas in the US. But in South Africa, we didn't have that. We had something else. And I walked up to the booth where this phone was on display. And I said, hi, I have a YouTube channel. I can show my audience this. And I gave them a little bit of a pitch about how I can help them show this phone off. Now, bear in mind, this is 2012. So you can notice the phone. I was dunking phones in water back then. It was the first waterproof phone. This was like wow stuff. But guess what? They didn't ask me what my channel size was. They just saw that I could give them the value. And as soon as you make that mindset change, which is why I keep on starting with mindset, I walked up to them and I said to them, I would like to help you show your product to an audience that wants to buy it. Are you interested? Why would they say no to that? I walked out of an event with a phone in my hand, thinking, wow, I can actually do this. And that was kind of the beginning of just all this major stuff that has come. Bear in mind, this is 2012, less than 320 odd subscribers, if I recall correctly. So that is what I did first deal.
And
deal with Samsung at less than 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that we have a video to share with you who's watching this, because it's really powerful how content can literally just create opportunities for you, especially when it's quality, especially when it's specific. And I think the basics here is this. When you're starting a channel, this is why it's important to be very niche, be very focused on a specific audience, on a specific type of content, so that when you do approach them, number one, you have the chops, you have the experience to be able to talk about whatever it is that's relevant to them, that they care about, and that you can show them that you have a channel. This is, again, why you need to upload a lot of videos, even at the beginning when you don't have a lot of sponsorships coming in. You review products if that's the type of channel you are. So when you do approach them, you're more likely to get the opportunity. And one of the reasons I love your example is even if you don't get paid, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. So if you're getting products that maybe you would have to spend money on to be able to review or rent it or borrow it from someone else, that's very, very significant when you're first starting out. So don't discount the freebies that you're going to get. And let me share you our first channel sponsorship here on Video Influence. So as you know, I've been a vlogger for I want to say like 8 years now, and I've got lots of sponsorships on that channel. I've got other channels. I've helped my wife get sponsorships. But even as a small channel, when we first started out here on Video Influencer, we were able to get a sponsorship. So I want to go back to our video library here. As you can see, these are some of our old videos. These are actually 3+, I think like 4 years old. But right there in the bottom right, there's an interview with Dulce Candy. And we did interview her. And this was in a hotel room. Sean and I set up, and we had a whole bunch of influencers in there. And that series of videos was sponsored by FameBit. And so this was early on, I want to say 10,000, maybe even less subscribers. And FameBit is a huge organization where they try to align brands with influencers. Now they've got bought out by Google. They're working with YouTube directly with YouTubers. However, back then, because of our audience here on Video Influencers, you who's watching are creators, influencers, people who have audiences that the brands that FameBit is working with wants to align with. It made sense for them to invest in us, sponsor our video and videos so that they could reach the right audience to help them have a better ROI when it comes to putting out content into the world. And I know we've been hammering on this topic for a long time, and we're going to move on to the second one, but this is really important because we want you to feel like there's hope at the end of the tunnel, and that there, I know you might be in a dark place where you have a lot of doubt. Is this going to work? Just know we have been there. Even though Sean and I have had many different success levels and we're way beyond 10,000 subscribers on this channel, we know what it's like as a smaller channel. And Liron, that's why he's on here, because he's had recent success working with brands. So we're going to move on to the second topic. Is there anything else you want to add, Liron, before you move on?
No, I think I'm seeing the comments coming through, and if people are starting to kind of get it, which I love. It's the mindset first. If you think you're not worth investing in, well, then you're not worth investing in. If you think, hey, I've got a passion for whatever it is that I do, whether it's tech, whether it's cooking, whether it's health, whatever it is, but you're passionate enough to spend your time making videos, if you can show that, somebody is going to invest in you. Don't ever think I'm wasting my time. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares, because then you're kind of leading yourself down this rabbit hole that's very difficult to dig yourself out of it. Forget it. Just do what you love, and you'll see how that will shine through. And just be consistent. Benji continuously tells you, just put out good content that people want to watch. If that video didn't do well, so what? Do the next one, and then the next one. Just get a little bit better with every single video. So don't think that you're not worth it, because if you think that, that's what you're gonna end up getting. Just make that step right now to say, hey, I'm worth investing in. Let's carry on with this.
There you go. So I know that was a lot to unpack for just tip number one, but that's really important to understand that, you know, being a small channel, it's possible to get brand sponsorships. And remember, it's all about the return on investment on the brand side. And if you start from that mindset, right, and you work towards your way to getting that deal, it's going to work out for you. Remember, with all that being said, you have to have quality content. You got to have a niche audience. You have to be very focused. But let's jump into the second tip, which is identify the brands that you want to work with. So many people get onto here because they know that they can get free stuff or get sponsored by brands, and they start creating content. And when you ask them, like, who you want to work with, they're like, I'll work with everybody. But do you understand, if you're already thinking that way, you're already off track. And this is why we talked about being very niche and being very focused. So Liron, why don't you jump into what you mean by this? Because I think this is an important part of trying to get these deals that a lot of creators are skipping out on.
Absolutely. This is such a mistake I see all the time. I say to people, do you want to be a full-time YouTuber? And a bunch of hands raised in the air, and people want to make a full-time living of YouTube. I say, great. Who are the 5 brands you work with? And people are, and then it goes radio silence. Well, that's not going to help you. If you don't know exactly who you want to work with, guess what? It's just never going to happen. You need to be able to rattle off 5 brand names right now. If I asked you personally who you want to work with, 5 brand name needs to come out of your mouth immediately, because you eat, live, and sleep those brands. You know them so well. They align so well with your channel. You just want to work with them because you believe you can really, really help them. So I will say to you right now, go and make a list of those 5 brands. Put them on your whiteboard. Cut them out of a magazine if you still have that. Print it off your printer. But have those brands in front of you, because that is your gold. That is who you're going to be working with. Don't tell me stuff. Don't tell me I want to work with brands. I want to make money. That is that's not an answer. I want to work with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the brands I want to work with. Great. Now you're focused. Now you're not wasting time accepting every little freebie that they think they're doing you a favor, and you're viewing their products, showing them off to the world, and you're just becoming their free marketing. Stop doing that. Focus on your big 5 brands you want to work with, and then work your way to get there. And in today, by the time you finish today, you'll have the plan to getting those deals done.
There you go. And so one of the reasons this is powerful is because time is precious. Everybody's got a limited amount of time. And, you know, if you follow people like Gary Vaynerchuk and some of these like hustlers and entrepreneurs who just work all day, and you might feel pressure to work everything all the time, including reaching out to every single brand. When you identify the 5 brands aligned with your content and would be interested in reaching your audience, then you can prioritize who it is you're going to work with and who it is you're going to reach out to, so you cut out all the unnecessary stuff. And there's a lot of opportunity even in just 5 brands. And when you go deeper into a conversation, into your efforts trying to reach out to them, and on specifically just 5 different, you know, companies or brands or businesses, then you're going to have a lot more depth. And we're going to talk about that in the next slide. But before we get into that, oh yeah, go ahead.
Before we move on to that, can I pick a comment out of the chat here?
Yes.
NKM, who says, I want to work with faith, lifestyle, and beauty brands. Too broad. Who do you look up? You've got to be specific. Who in lifestyle? Who is the company? Which is the person that's going to help you and you can help them? If you're talking about faith products, great. Where, who, when, what, why? Be specific. The more specific you are, the more likelihood of you actually getting there. When you say stuff, things, bunches, and lots, that's the equivalent of that. So I'm not calling you out, don't get me wrong. I want you to understand that you need to be so targeted and so specific. I want to work with that company. And that's how you're going to get to where you need to get to. So that's kind of, again, want to pick that out, making sure you understand that.
Love it, love it. So if you are enjoying this, hit that like button. We would really
Oh, yeah.
appreciate that. And make sure you comment. If you're watching the replay, comment and ask your questions, because we always like to dive in there and engage with you and answer as much as possible. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. But we're going to move on to the next tip, which is this: social media hustle. Now, it's pretty obvious that you want to use social media to be able to reach out not just to viewers or potential subscribers, but also brands and companies. But there's just so much to unpack here that we're going to be talking about, because this is why starting with 5 brands is going to be powerful. But like, there's so much more to it. It's not just about like, hey, notice me. It's about adding value and engaging and starting the relationship and starting the conversation. So Liron, let's dive into what it is that's necessary for people to start that conversation, to be able to build the relationship, to get the brand deals when they're trying to reach out to different companies.
So I call this social media stalking. Yeah,
Haha.
just how I like to see it. Yeah, it is a hustle, but to me, it's very simple. If you just reach out to these brands and you say, hey, I want to work with you. Hey, come work with me. Hey, send me free stuff. Guess what? You're just one of 1,000 people that they received that morning. So how do you stand out from it? How do you get to the top of those lists rather than just another spam email that has come through and someone's got to deal with? The way you do it is you first start following your 5 brands on whatever platform you have to be on. Twitter to me is superb. I love Twitter. People do it on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Google, just whatever platform that you're comfortable with. Find those brands, start there, listen to what they're doing, watch what they're doing, and then start engaging. Be genuine. And I'm going to keep using this word genuine, because brands are not stupid. They understand who is just giving them thumbs up and retweets because they want to get onto their list. This is not 2012 anymore. Brands have become very sophisticated. Guess what happens when you start adding to conversations? Guess what happens when you start promoting that brand and start answering other people's questions about that because you genuinely love it? You're going to appear on their radar. They have a tool called ORM, Online Reputation Management. They need to have it because ORM is essentially a tool that monitors positive and negative comments about that brand. They need to head something off at the path as soon as they know someone's speaking negatively about their brand. They need to be able to engage with that person. But guess what? They also love to know when someone's speaking positively about that brand. So whenever you hustle, whenever you're stalking your brand and you're engaging and you're sharing articles and you're retweeting and you are just genuinely loving the product and services, not faking it, genuinely loving it, your reputation score starts to rise. So then we do take that step of reaching out to them, you're no longer a stranger. Someone's going to say, hold on, I know that name. Hold on, I've seen that handle. I have seen that picture. And then let me run it through our system. So stalk your favorite brand, genuine with what you have to say about them, really engage with them, and don't reach out asking for stuff. Biggest mistake I see, people just asking, give me, give me, give me.
There.
Don't do that.
Great point. And it sounds like an episode of the Black Mirror, your social media score, but it's for reals.
Oh, yeah.
Like Liron mentioned earlier, they see tons of people asking for free stuff. What they don't see enough of is people trying to truly engage. It's already hard enough for a brand to engage online because it's a brand, it's a company. Even though there's a human being behind that social media account, they have this image about them because they're just in there to make money. They're a big corporation or they're a business and it's all about selling. So when you actually treat that brand like a human, oh man, that's crazy. And they appreciate it so much. And there is so much value you can add just from starting the conversation, liking their posts, retweeting their posts, talking not just with them, but other people in their posts, other people that's relevant, maybe even doing kind of their work. And it kind of leads us to the next point. But I feel that social media isn't utilized as much as people can utilize it because they just go surface level. They don't go deeper. They don't really focus. And this is why the last tip was powerful about focusing on 5 brands, not everywhere else. So we're going to dive into the next point, which is this: brand versus PR. What does this mean? So when you're talking to brands online and say Samsung, you're going to start this discussion. You're going to reply to their tweet or Instagram DM them or get into Facebook and start that messaging back and forth. Remember that there's a human on the other side, but that human might play a different role depending on the company, on the business, on the brand. And so, oftentimes you just assume you're working with a brand, but sometimes you might be actually talking to someone at their PR company, at their agency. Maybe it's a small business. Maybe it's a one-man band digital marketing department at that brand. You have to know the difference and understand the significance. But at the end of the day, remember, it's another human being and you have to put yourself in their shoes. So Liron, let's unpackage this for everybody watching and give some tips on how they can really make the most of this understanding of who it is they're talking to.
Oh, definitely. Again, another mistake I see people making, it's reaching out to some email address and thinking that they're speaking to the brand themselves and say, hi, brand name blank. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. But just don't know who's on the other side of that email address, first of all. And you need to know there's a difference between speaking to a small business, a small company who perhaps doesn't have an executive team and an outsourced agency and are doing everything themselves. That's a very different conversation than when you're speaking to a big brand that's got a big PR agency. PR is public relations. Those are the companies that look after the brand messaging. They want to always have kind of a say in what's going on. They're going to do damage control when things go wrong. They're going to promote when things go right. Those are a great source for you to reach out to. Once you've identified that, hey, I'm actually speaking to a PR agency, then the mindset has to change again, because now you're no longer speaking to the person making that decision. You're speaking to someone in the process. What do I mean by that? When you're speaking to somebody who's in the process of making a decision, you're trying to make it as easy as humanly possible for that person to love you so much that they want to see you get that brand deal. They want to see you on that list. They want to see you succeed because you've made their life easy. You're not yet another person asking, give me, bottom of the list. But as soon as you've worked out, say, hey, I'm going to be so good with this person that they're going to love me so much when they have their executive meetings and they're going to decide which influencers they're going to work with, which channels they're going to work with, then they're going to pick me because I have made their life so easy. I'm going to over deliver and I'm so professional about this. It's just going to be a pleasure. So be aware who you're speaking to and how you can help them help you. Very, very important.
Yeah, I love it. And this is something I've never really spoken about. And this is why I'm excited to dive into it with you and hear what you're talking about. Because, when you're creating a video, I always say, put yourself in the shoes, or in my case, in the seat of the viewer. And what is it that they're typing out on their keyboard that's going into YouTube, they're searching for, and get kind of in the mindset of that so that you can create the perfect video for that person when they get all the search results from YouTube. It's similar to that person on the other side of that brand account. What is it that they're trying to accomplish for the brand that they work at, or the brand that is one of their clients if they're an agency? And make it possible for them to be a superstar in their world. Relationships are really key in this world because there are so many different influencers. And I'll just tell you, one of the first things I always ask when I get a brand deal is, how did you find me? Because I want to know, did they find me through Instagram or Twitter? Did they do a search on Google? So I'm always trying to figure this out, not just so that I can optimize what I'm doing online, but I can go directly to where it is that they're finding influencers and make the most of my efforts there and just get into their mindset. So going back to putting yourself in the shoes of these reps, of these people representing the brand as an agency or PR company, and delivering exactly what they need. Because when you make it easy for them, they're going to remember you, and them following up with that brand deal with you, not just once, but twice or 3 times, that is the key right there, because you want long-term brand sponsorships. But even at the very, very, very beginning, the one thing that brands need more than anything, more than the reach, is just good content. So do not discount the content you're creating, because that's a commercial that they would have to pay 1, 2, 5,000, tens of thousands of dollars for. It might not be to the quality of like TV level, but still there's a lot more heart and passion and personality in it, especially if you do have an audience, even a small audience.
Well,
Liron, I feel like you have something else you want to say before we move on.
I want to jump in here quickly. One of the big lessons that I've learned a long time ago is that it's all about people. Never mind about B2B, like business to business, or B2C, business to consumer. I call it P2P, people to people. What I love is that when I deal with a wonderful PR lady, guy, and we've got a good relationship and good chemistry going, and I'm always going to over deliver. If I promise them 3 social media posts, I'm going to do 10. If I promise them it's going to be in 2 weeks, I'm going to make sure that it's there in a week. I'm all going to kind of make their job easier. But guess what happens? People move around the industry a lot. So somebody at a PR firm and PR firm A lands up with getting a job at PR firm B. Guess who he or she is taking with them? They're going to have my name because I've made their job easy, and they want to look like a hero in their new business. So of course they're going to rely on me, whoever the influencer is. They're going to rely on that because they know that their first deal they're going to give me, I'm going to make them look so good that they're going to kind of solidify their position. They've picked the right person. Make them the hero. It's so critical. So just remember that, people to people at the end of the day.
Boom. And we are paying attention to your chat. We're going to move over to Chris, or specifically Nice Chris, to give some shout outs. We are paying attention to everything you guys are saying. So we want to thank some of the super chat donors. Chris, let's get into it.
All right. What is up, everybody? Good morning for wherever you are watching. I'm going to give a couple super chat shout outs. We have Sparks Family TV with a $2 donation. Thank you so much. She mentioned that she would love an audit. We've made many changes, so that is awesome. Daily Driven H2 for $2, saying trying to get some sponsors. Any tips would help. And then I want to give a couple shout outs to people who are continuously watching on all our Saturday morning lives, which is Simply Me Tay, Sparks Family TV, and Laura Schwager. There are many, many more. There's a couple that.
All right, so we're having a technical difficulty because I guess your mic's not working. I don't know what's going on, Chris.
I hear it.
Oh, you hear it?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Well, anyways, some people are saying the mic's not on. Can you guys hear it? Let me know if you guys can hear his mic on there. Gabby said she couldn't hear your mic for some reason.
I heard my mic.
Oh, you heard your mic? Hey, can you guys hear it? Oh, wait, look. Oh, they can hear you. Okay, go ahead. Keep going, Chris.
Alrighty. Sounds good. And you want me to ask the questions to you
ask one question real quick. Just a little break, and we'll get back onto the last tip.
Sounds good. All right, cool. Let's do Caffeine Man. What defines sponsored? Is free product sponsored? Is getting paid affiliate commission sponsored? Is getting paid a small fee for the video sponsored? Thanks.
All right. So I guess the problem was that your mic's just low, but sorry for that. But the question is, what is the definition of being sponsored? Because That can mean many different things. For me, it's an exchange of something, including money or finances, for a piece of content or reach. So in the world of YouTube, that can literally mean, especially if you have a small audience, just like the video getting posted onto YouTube. So, obviously we all want to get paid money, whether it's $100 or $100,000 for a video. And in the very beginning, oftentimes you've got to be okay with getting free product. Sometimes if you're working with the right company, that free product could be thousands of dollars. And that's why I mentioned earlier that a trade is amazing. Remember, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. Liron, I would love to hear what your thoughts are. But the last thing I'll say in terms of answering your question is you have to build yourself up. And the one benefit of working with a brand in the very beginning when it's just free trade for a piece of content, it's giving you more content. And we're going to dive into the next topic. It's going to be a great segue, actually. Liron, do you want to move on to the next one, or do you want to chime in here on that question?
Just on that question, a sponsorship, I mean, it's exactly what you said. It's an exchange of goods. It can be of service. It could be paid. It could be simply that they fly you out to an event. That's also a type of sponsorship. The most important thing, I would say, is that be transparent with your audience. So if we're paid to do this, tell the audience. If they were given this product for a review, tell the audience. Never put yourself in a situation where you're promoting something and it looks like an advert, but you're not kind of fully transparent. It's very easy to be found out. Be aware there's something called the FTC rules. So if you're living in the US, definitely look them up. In whatever country you are around the world, they should have some sort of advertising standards. So be familiar with those so you're not contravening any of those rules and regulations. Your audience loves you for you. They don't mind that you do sponsorship because it means you're paid or you're able to give them more content. They're perfectly okay with that. What they're not okay with is lied to. So don't put yourself in that position.
There you go. All right. So I know we've been saying that every one of these tips are important, some are like the most important, but this is probably a tip that's really the most important tool when it comes to really working your social media communications, reaching out to brands, to able to actually seal the deal. Now, this is just a conversation starter, but what we're talking about is media kits. And what that is basically a preview, or it's a snapshot of who you are, what you're all about, some of your numbers, but more importantly, what you're capable of and what you're going to be able to do for the brand. And we're actually going to dive into media kits that we have. But Liron, dive into this because I believe this is something that's worth spending time on outside of your content, because it's powerful to start the conversation and pique people's interest even when you're just starting out.
So let's take a moment to breathe for a second. We've now recognized that we are not a small channel anymore. I don't want to hear anybody in the chat saying I've only have insert numbers there. We're moving on beyond that. We know the 5 brands we want to work with. We have now stalked them or hustled them. See, I still like stalking better. We hustle them on social media. We know the conversations. We're getting involved in those conversations. We're starting to get buddy with them. Brilliant. We're doing all the right step. We know that we're going to be dealing with a PR agency, so we know we need to help the PR agency help us. How do we do that? Where people fail is at the step. You've done all the work, and then you let yourself down here. And here's what I mean by that. Quite a big dump, right? Here's what I mean by that. I mean that you've spoken to your PR friend over the phone. You've sent them a couple of emails. They're starting to love you. Guess what you've done? You've said to them, hey, I would love to be on your next release of whatever phone. I would love you to send me a product, and that's it. Or at best, maybe here's a link to my YouTube channel, and you've left it at that. Guess what happens? They take that information, they add it to a whole bunch of other bits of information, and they go to a meeting. And now they're going to have to start making a decision which person they're going to work with. Well, if you've only given them an email with a bunch of links, they're not going to open up all those links right there in the meeting and start evaluating each individual channels. But if you have a PDF attachment, and that PDF attachment is your sales, is your mouthpiece, that is you in that meeting. It's going to
Liron,
give you the numbers.
I'm going to share your
It's,
PDF right now,
oh,
okay?
yeah.
So go ahead. You can keep talking.
Right. So sorry, I get like kind of excited about these things. When they're in that meeting, they see a a presentation, a PDF, and it starts off something like this. Immediately, I visually have just told them a story. Notice there's your story. It's got me, but it's all the brands I've worked with, including that wonderful sports car which BMW gave me to drive for a week. And
Awesome.
by the way, I had 4,800, 900 subs at stage. BMW i8 electric vehicle sports car, guys.
Wow.
So stop talking about numbers being so unattainable. And all of these, I visually just told them, hey guys, here are the brands I work with. This is what I do. And I'm being professional about this. So yes, I might have green hair and maybe it doesn't go well with corporate certain levels. I'm okay with it because I am who I am. And my audience knows that. And my audience is okay with that. And now with your media pack, that's me in that meeting. That's me telling that brand saying, hey, I'm going to do good for you because look, I have done this in the past. I've done this with lots of others. One of the big questions I get, what happens if you've never done a brand deal? What do you put into your media pack? Or if you're a small channel, words not to be used, if you're, what happens? What can you show them if you can't show the numbers? It's not about you. It's about them. It's
I got to
about
dive in here.
how,
I got to dive in here.
absolutely.
Yeah, you're right about it is about them, and you're giving them the tools to make it even easier, not only for that agent or whoever the rep is, or maybe it's a person that works at the brand to make their job easier, but it's how you guys are going to be able to collaborate. You're giving them a vision of what's possible. And remember, even if you have 0 subscribers, it's the content you create. And this is why it's so important to have videos on your channel. And this is why if people want a channel audit and they don't have 100 videos, whether they want to work with brands or not, they need to get 100 videos on there. So it shows them that you're a legit content creator, you know what you're doing, and that it's very specific and very obvious, not just from the media kit. But the media kit is like the foot in the door. Right? So like an email is like a knock on the door. The email, the media kit is a foot in the door. And the reason I want to butt in here real quick is because, one, if you're liking this, hit that like button. Make sure you leave a comment of your questions, but share this right now with anybody that wants to work with a brand sponsor, whether you're a small or large channel, because by the way, a lot of these tips will work for bigger channels as well. You don't stop the hustle later. So if you're watching this, I'm telling you from experience, and the reason I want you to share it now is everything we've talked about in the last almost hour is important. But this is the nitty gritty, the most important hustle. We're going to finally get to kind of the strategies that's worked for us, because I have been doing this literally for 10 years, having a media kit. By the way, Sean Cannell, the co-founder of this channel, he made my first media kit for a project, which actually I want to show to you right now. And so this is a media kit right here of a series we wanted to create for my wife, the wedding series. As you can see on this media kit, there's all kinds of numbers, but what's on there? Brands that we had already worked with, so that brands that we were going to pitch to could see who we aligned with. And this is why don't be afraid of freebies or trades, because you can say you've worked with those brands, like that BMW at 5,000, right? I mean, like, still they don't know that you didn't get paid. So it's really powerful, the perception here. Here's the second part of that media kit, again, that Sean made back, I want to say like 2009 or 2010. And on here, you can see we've put different videos relating to what that brand might be interested in. So this was a wedding series that we want to create around Judy's journey to her wedding day. Obviously, she was going to get married to me. And so what we did was we already had videos that we put up there. And for you, whether it's videos you put up a long time ago or ones that you specifically developed for this strategy to create this wedding series, those videos kind of sold the series to people. And then down below, we gave them different ideas for different videos we want to create to, again, start the conversation. So a media kit can be as simple as sharing your numbers and what's in it for them, to to fully pitching an actual video
Yes.
or series of videos, and making it easier for them to consume what it is that you're trying to pitch, because a lot of people, they're not just verbal, they're visual. So a media kit is powerful in that sense. And Liron, I'll hand it back off to you. But before I do that, because we're going to get into the end of this, please hit that like button if this is valuable. Let us know in the comments if you love these live broadcasts and what kind of future broadcasts you would like to see. And lastly, if you haven't seen our book, YouTube Secrets, is now out on audiobook, so make sure you get it. It's as easy as going to Amazon.com, whether you're on your phone, on your computer, type in YouTube Secrets. It'll be the first one. Don't get the copycat books. Get the real deal right here. In fact, I'm going to hand it over to you, Liron, because you have it there over in the corner. And if you want to talk about it, you can. But why don't you finish off your point, your last point of media kits and how to use it to get brand deals, even as a small channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember, you don't know the internal process of the agency or the company. The person you're speaking to could be just the first line. They then hand it over to somebody else who hands it to somebody else. If you're just going to hand over a plain text email with a bunch of links, it's going to get lost the more it's disconnected from you. So the person having the conversation with you might love you to bits, but the person making the decision is going to be 3 or 4 steps removed. But a media kit is you along every step of that journey. So make sure that media kit sells you and sells what you can do for that company. So the media kit that Benji just showed, it was customized. It was customized for the company that they're about to deal with, showing them relevant stuff specifically for that company. So it just makes so much sense for them to say, oh, wow, they've done this before. They understand our market. All those barriers start coming down, because at the end of the day, people are still very guarded. They're guarded about their messaging. They're guarded about bad publicity, bad experiences. So if you're just showing, look how professional I am. I have worked with companies before. I understand your market. I just want to help you. Wow, it goes a long way. Every step of that journey, that media kit just speaks for you. Don't rely on that initial phone call.
Boom. There's a lot going on here. If you're just catching up, we just want to give a few shout outs to some people. But before that, thank you to our sponsor, vidIQ. Funny enough, Liron, and this isn't the reason Liron is on here. Liron is on here because he's a creator with a relatively small channel, but he's still crushing it. And I met him through vidIQ, and he helps other creators. So I wanted to give a special shout out to vidIQ. He is the he is the director of customer success. So this is a legit guy that knows what he's doing, YouTube certified. But we're excited. I want to wrap everything up here before we get into the end, to just kind of like get everybody excited about getting off of here. You know, when you're starting out, it's very possible to get brand sponsorships because the content has value in itself. And this is why you need to practice, like, put out quality content. But remember, the number one thing is the right mindset. You know, it doesn't matter about the numbers, it's about the ROI. What is the return on investment for the brand themselves? Okay. And the second thing, what was the second thing, Liron? Second thing.
So we've got a mindset that's got to be changed. Then we need to identify the brands we want to work with.
Yep. So
identify them.
Identify the brands. Make sure you guys specify the 5 brands that you want to focus on. Third tip is utilize social media. And in Liron's words, stalk them. Okay. Hustle and reach out to them. Add value. Don't just say, hey, it's me, right? Add value by engaging, adding value to their comments area, liking, retweeting, going to their DMs and thank them. There's a lot of power when you're grateful and you start from a position of appreciation. I always do. Every single email starts like that. Even at my level, I'm always saying, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's an honor to work with a prestigious brand. So social media stalking, very, very important. And remember, tip 4 is realize who you're talking to. Sometimes you're talking to the brand directly. Sometimes you're talking to a PR company that they hired. Sometimes it's an agency that directs all their social media. And keep in mind, there's a human on the other side. So it's important for you to realize that and start a regular relationship like you would a friend, because the more you help out that friend, the more they're going to want to help out you. Which brings us to tip number 5, which is your media kit. This is going to be your visual representation of not only what you're about, but what you can do for that brand. And with that being said, I just want to give some shout outs. Chris, are you ready to give some shout outs real quick to anybody that's on here? And then we're going to get in and wrap this up.
Yep, we're good.
Go ahead.
Alrighty, so this is going to be a super chat from Brooklyn Dossie for $10. I have a question from the reverse side. My job is to reach out to influencers. When reaching out, is it best to ask for a rate or give a budget when asking for a YouTuber to promote a product?
Liron, you want to take
Love
this
it.
one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can tell you that you're going to get so much more when you give a budget. So here's what happens. When you ask for a rate card, what typically happens is I receive that message, for example, and I don't know what you want yet. And we know we have this conversation and you try to tell me this is what you're looking to achieve and this is the end goals and these are the milestones. Now I've got to kind of reverse engineer that and try and work out what fits where and how much does each little element cost. It's probably going to be way above your budget. But if you say to me, listen, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve. This is the money that we have, the budget we've allocated to the influencer. What can you do for us? Now, I'm going to over deliver. Instead of one video, you might get 2. Instead of one social media post, you might get 10, because I think that it's worth it. I think the budget is there, and I think that I want to work with you in the future. So you're always going to get so much more when you don't simply ask for a rate card. And by the way, it changes at different levels. As the higher up you go, the bigger the channels are, the bigger the influencer are. They might have a rate card, that in which case that's what it is. But when you want to lots of micro influencers, oh, what a pleasure it is to work with a brand that says, I've got X to spend. Let's work together. Let's make this thing happen. That's the way I would approach it.
There you go. And so rarely do I give tips to the other side, because usually I'm on the influencer side. But this is really, I think you, Brooklyn, thank you for asking that question, would agree with this. This is why I really appreciate that you're on here studying this, because if you're representing the brand, you have to do what's best for them. So you got to negotiate the best rate. So for influencers watching this, make sure you do your homework. Reach out to other creators. Make sure you're always trying to protect your value. Don't just, shortcut your rate because you just want to get the deal. If you know you can charge this much. And this is why hustle is really important, and being everywhere to understand the marketplace and what the value of a video or a post really is. So I'm going to take a little break. This is going to be kind of fun. We're going to show a video of somebody we may or may not know, and we're going to talk about it because I really want to share with you something very significant that's going on around the world. But here's a fun video.
Thanks, Nations and Chile. Sitting beside me is Liron Segev. He owns a mobile applications company called SwiftGo. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Africa.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you, Liron Segev. Can you briefly tell us about mobile applications?
Sure. Mobile applications is effectively an ability to make your smartphone more active with more information, makes it more relevant to your day-to-day needs. If we recall, when mobile phones came out in South Africa.
All right, so you're probably asking, why did Benji show that clip? Well, number one, it was really fun to show that because Liron was looking so fly with his shirt, and he was too cool for school on that couch, and that was a show where he was interviewed in South Africa. Now, and this is what really stood out for me. The context of the conversation was about mobile apps, and that defining of the app was so eloquent and so perfect. But that is a conversation I just assume would have been had in maybe 2005 to 2008 here in the States. That was a clip of Liron in 2011, explaining to somebody on TV what a mobile app is. Now, I'm not doing this to make fun of anybody or just poke at, like how late in the game, but it's to make a point that there's 2 billion logged in users on this platform all over the world. There's another 4 to maybe 5 billion that have not logged in yet that you could reach out to. And when people say, oh, it's too late, I should have been on 10 years ago, just realize there's still huge parts of the world, including South Africa, that are still just catching up. So even when it comes to brand deals and working with sponsors, there's a lot of companies out there, a lot of businesses that still are just finally reaching out to influencers. So for all the deals I've gotten over the years, it's only gotten better. It's only gotten easier. Now, on the content side, you still actually have to hustle more and you have to put out better quality content, but there's just so much opportunity. So Liron, thank you so much for letting me share that clip. Can you dive into that and just share your testimony about what your experience working with brands is and how much faith you have in the future when it comes to brand deals?
So firstly, I'm not sure I had a choice about sharing that clip. Let's just get the record straight. It was like, this is happening. So the point, I guess, is where we're going with this is that we sometimes do get caught up in our own little circle, right? And we want to do something, and our friends, our family tell us, well, who's going to watch it? Who cares about this? Everybody knows those tips and tricks. Everybody knows about that product. Why are you wasting your time? The point is that there are so many people around the world who do not. There's so many people in the world who still don't know. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. So you still have to say it. India is one of the fastest growing countries getting onto YouTube. You got to tell them to hit that subscribe button. So my point with this is don't just think local. I've recently did a little video on my channel about a dongle that connects to your phone. And there's a million videos about that dongle. And I got so many comments to say, oh, why are you making this video now? It's 2019. We all know this stuff. But you know what happened underneath that? There were so many more comments which said, wow, I had no idea this could do that. I'm going to go and use this dongle today. It is a bigger world than just your little square block, your state, your city, your country. There is so much future for us YouTubers who genuinely love what we do. We want to share what we do with people around the world. And look on this chat here, these people from literally around the world that are loving kind of what we're saying or maybe hating what we're saying. And that's also fine. But we're having a conversation from around the world in front of our computers and in front of our phones. So never kind of be defeated looking around you saying your close 5 friends have told you that you're wasting your time. Think bigger, think social media, and a big tip here is don't stop tweeting or sharing your content because now it's 10 o'clock at night and you're going to sleep. Because guess what? There's another world that's just waking up. Schedule your tweets to go 24 hours. Schedule your social media. Your sharing 24 hours. Reach a bigger audience. The more you talk to a wider audience, the better your chances of succeeding are on this YouTube platform. And then, of course, getting those brand deals from around the world.
Inspirational. Love it. And one of the things I love about Liron is he is very optimistic, got some great energy, and got a lot of experience and wisdom. He is a businessman at the end of the day, and you can tell by his success that he's had. Even, again, with a relatively small channel, working with brands.
Yep.
And that's why he is a perfect guest for you that are just starting out at zero, or maybe you're trucking along at a few hundred or a few thousand, and at his 15,000, he's able to make a living doing what he does in different ways. And so the point we're trying to make is it is not too late. The reason we wrote this book, Sean and I, YouTube Secrets, and we keep pushing this on you. The reason we are plugging away the audiobook is because listen to it so that not only you learn how to work this, but you can get different ideas. In this book, we've got 10 different ways to make money with YouTube, which we've made videos on, but we give context through examples, other channels we know of. And we know it's possible. And the last thing I want to do is get into an audit, but if you guys want to check out what Liron's doing, go to his channel, The Techie Guy. We'll put a link down below after all this, but if you just type in The Techie Guy or Liron, you will find his channel. Liron, we're going to do a channel audit real quick. I know you're biting at the bullet to say something, so why don't you say something real quick, and then Chris, get ready to pick a channel we're going to audit. So you guys, you better comment. We might still pick your channel. Thank you to all the super chats. Liron, let's dive into your last thoughts so we can move on to the channel audit.
Right. All those people putting up their hands in the chat, I just want to say to you one thing. You've got to actually take some action. What I always say to people is, you want to work brands, great. How many brands have you reached out to and given them the opportunity to say yes to you? And usually the answer is 0. If you're going to do this, get ready, get your media pack ready, and then start reaching out, start engaging, give them the opportunity to say yes to you. They want to work with you. Just make it easy for them to do that.
There you go. All right. So, Chris, we're going to switch over to you. Thank you, everyone, for the likes. I see that just going up and up, all the comments, obviously, and anybody that has shared this on social media. So, Chris, let's get over to you and get a channel audit going.
Right on. I just want to give a quick shout out to our super chat to Larissa Funtong for $2 saying, I love this channel. I hope my channel can grow. Now, today's everybody audit is going to be Sparks Family TV.
There we go. Sparks Family TV. We've got that up there right now. As you can see, right away, I can already give you props that this is a kids channel. Well, obviously, there's kids in it. But I love your thumbnails. There's like a certain look to your thumbnails. And I definitely want to dive into it. But thank you so much for supporting this channel, watching, obviously. Hopefully, we're helping you out. Let's actually dive into one of your videos, eggs, amazing egg decor. Liron, have you pulled it up on your computer?
Yeah, I'm watching it as you are displaying it.
Okay, sweet. So, you know, one thing that's really important, everyone, is when you're looking at your own channel, you should be looking at it the way we do, which is watch your videos. I'm going to be fast forwarding through the videos. Obviously, they're coloring some eggs. I'm guessing because it was close to Easter. I think that's really smart. And as you go on, the kids are looking cute. They're coloring this egg. That's a cool toy. I think I need to get one of those because that looks like it makes it fun for the kids. But again, going to the channel, I love the thumbnails. The titles, I think that, you know, when it comes to kids content, it's a completely different strategy to the Sparks Family TV. And so for kids content, which you already know, is under a microscope right now because they're trying to protect kids, especially kids in the videos. So that's just a whole nother side note. But my one tip is this. You just got to keep uploading, which I know is not what you want to hear when it comes to the channel audit. But I noticed that you've uploaded 41 videos. So this is the thing. You know, 100 videos is when you're really getting started because you're really figuring it out. Remember, when you upload a video, oh, thank you, little one. So my little one, you want to say hi? Come over here. Come over here. Come over here. All right, so my little one just wanted to say hi, brought me my green juice. Thank you, honey. Did you want to say hi real quick?
Hi.
Do you like YouTube?
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Give me a hug. Here. Okay, go back inside, okay?
Okay.
All right, sorry, you guys. When you're uploading those videos.
We put celery and apples.
Okay, thank you. Celery and apples. Okay, so when you're uploading that video and you've got data that you can look at, you can adjust your strategy. So whether that's the thumbnail, you can see if the click-through rate is good. Maybe when it is good, you can see, you know, what thumbnail you're using, what the positioning was, and then what the title was, and was your content aligned? What was the engagement like? So Liron, I'll let you go ahead and take it, and I'm going to dive in a little bit more into their content. Are you good, Liron?
Yeah, I'm just firing it up right now. Perfect. Let me know when you're ready to
go
hand
ahead.
it over. Okay, so with a kids channel, So I love the idea of rainbow vomit, is what we like to call it, where you've got so much color. It's so exciting. You've got to remember with a kids channel, who is the audience? Is it going to be kids that can read, or kids that cannot read? And the reason that makes a big difference is because everything changes. If it's little kids who cannot read, then it's no text, lots of zoomed in images. You've got to see the toy that they're playing with because that's what they're going to connect with, and all about mom or dad giving the iPad or the tablet, sitting, letting the kids watch some of your content. So don't worry about faces and all of those big people's tips, because it's all about little kids, and all they want to see is lots of color, lots of toys, lots of kids being happy and excited to play with it. So that's one audience. If it's a slightly older demographic who can actually read, then you want to really, really kind of show the excitement of the toy, focus the attention, because it's all about that thumbnail. Remember, all the thumbnail's mission is to stop someone what they're doing and choose your video over somebody else's video. I love the yellow. It really, really pops. You want to make sure that always on brand. So I see you got a couple of videos where you got the family. It's not really the thumbnail that we're accustomed to. So immediately that sticks out. I will say I love your banner, Sparks Family TV. It's a cute little kind of animation. You can instantly connect with that. You're constantly having your logo on your thumbnails, so we know that it's yours. So a big tip here is what I call the 10,000 thumbnail test. What does that mean? If I take 3 of your thumbnails, stick it into a bucket with 10,000 other thumbnails, can I find yours again? If the answer is yes, you're on brand. You're doing a good job. If the answer is, oh, I'm not so sure, I would have to relook at your thumbnails. So really, really cool content. 858 subscribers. You're well on your way to 1,000. You're going to get there. Not even a question. You just got to keep uploading. Just do more of it. What I'd like to do before we kind of wrap up is go to the videos tab, sort it by most popular video. And I want to see what video has done really well for you. Of course, Sharkbite. So good. So you played on the month ago, which is great. It's nice that you've played on the whole baby shark. Nobody's singing, but you can start, you're already doing that. But look, you've changed it up a little. So 2 months ago, you were doing blue. Now you're doing yellow. Go look at those thumbnails, see what has given you more views, which one has got retention, has kept people on for longer. Start experimenting. The biggest thing with channels, and before I end off, because I can go on, the biggest thing with channel is go and live in your analytics. Go and dive into your analytics. Don't be afraid of it. I'm say that's why I do love what we do at vidIQ, because we just click a button and it will tell you what you do right.
It's right there. It's actually right there to the right, everybody. All that information to the right on the screen, that's all vidIQ information. That's available to you in your analytics, but it's done in a way that is much easier to consume when you're downloading it. So we always recommend vidIQ, not just because we work with them, but because we actually use it. We were using it long before we work with them. So definitely utilize that as a way to do what Liron is talking about, which is diving into the analytics. So I'm going to let you finish here, Liron, and share a little bit of your last thoughts, as well as where people can find you, and then we will go ahead and say goodbye to everyone.
So this kind of advice applies to every channel. It's understanding the audience is critical. Don't be afraid to experiment. So do a couple of little things, especially when you're still trying to find your feet. To be honest, we're all still trying to find our feet in many ways. The algorithm changes, and now we got to find our feet again. It's okay. Play with different content. Play with different genres. Play with different situations. Play with your colors, and until you're going to see things, they're going to click, and the audience is going to connect with something, and then do more of that something. So whether it's Sparks Family TV, who's doing a brilliant job and really seems to have got into a groove of doing things, or whether you're doing a fishing channel, you're doing health, whether you're doing technology, whether you're doing travel, it's all the same rule apply. A great channel banner, which tells you the what and the why of your channel. What is this channel about? Why should I subscribe? Let me know that in this to get my attention. Then I'm going to start diving into your videos, and those thumbnails are so critical. Make sure that you have good thumbnails experiment with them, and the ones that work, just do more of them. So I think on this channel audit, you guys are doing great. Just carry on doing more of it.
Yeah, and remember, you guys, Liron does this for a living, not only as a creator, but helping other people to audit their channels. So what he's talking about is for reals working, and he's had some amazing success stories, not just for himself, but other people. So go check out his channel. And he doesn't necessarily teach this on his channel, and actually I'm going to switch over to that right now. But The Techie Guy, go check him out. It's right there on YouTube. You can type in Liron Segev. Let's look at his videos. Let's audit his channel real quick. No, but all his look at all the thumbnails. Very similar. Almost has like a brand to it, and of course covering different topics. But almost all of it is around tech. So what I'd say in terms of auditing, there isn't a lot to audit. Liron actually audits me all the time. He's like texting me, hey, why isn't your link working on your Twitter? I love that. I appreciate that. But I love what you said, Liron, which is we can all improve. We can all get better. And again, thank you to vidIQ. If you haven't yet, make sure you guys go check it out and download that, because there is a free version and it's so useful. Secondly, oh, wait. Sorry. Technical difficulties here. But what I wanted to do was share my book here, YouTube Secrets. Download that on Amazon or Audible as an audio book. And the last thing I want to say is this: what will you do today, or what will you wish you did today after hearing all this? Because a lot of people are going to watch this, and you know, a lot of you guys are already exiting out, but anybody that is watching right now, in 10 years from now, you will look back at today and think, man, I wish I had started my channel, or I wish I started reaching out to brands, and you didn't. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to want to do it 10 years from now and think, man, if only I started a decade ago or even before. So you can't do anything about the past right now, but you can do something about today. And that's why we bring you this information. Liron, bring us home, and let's say goodbye to everybody that's left.
So we do have a saying in Africa, and I always like to use this, which is, when is the best time to plant a tree? And that was 10 years ago. When is the second best time to plant a tree? Today. So with that in mind, go out and do it. Don't be afraid. Believe in your channel. Believe in what you're doing. Stop listening to the negativity that's out there. Unfollow, mute, get rid of all that in your life, and just do what you love. If you have a story to share, share it. If you're going to grow your brand, grow your brand. You are a brand, and other brands want to work with people just like you. They're actively looking for it. Use these tips and just go out and do that. And as I said before, give someone the opportunity to say yes to you by reaching out to them. So go ahead and do it, and would love to see your success. Absolutely.
Awesome. Love the last pieces of wisdom, and I'm going to go plant a tree sometime in the near future now. Hit that like button. We always appreciate you engaging. Leave a comment and subscribe for more videos just like this. This is Video Influencers. We're helping you build your influence, income, impact with online videos. I will talk to you guys later, and hustle this week.